Hello, my name is Kim, and in this timeless reading, we will look at the past, present, and future of either a current situation, cycle, stage, or phase of your life. Therefore, keep in mind that the span of time of this past, present, and future will differ for each one of you. We may be looking at, for example, a span of 1 year or possibly more. It all depends on your specific situation. Now, just a quick but very important reminder, predictions are simply a means of giving you information about the current energy and where it is headed. Therefore, when it comes to the future, nothing is set in stone. If there is anything that is said in the reading that does resonate with you, but it's not to your liking, and you would love to change or alter, then you are most likely being let known about it right here and now, because there is something that you can do to change the current energy and therefore the future. Because remember, energy is always changing, shifting in accordance to our actions, decisions, approach, and even way of thinking. Even your response to situations that are in a way out of your control can completely alter and shift your experience of something or how things unfold from then onwards. So it's important to keep this in mind when receiving any form of prediction and or reading. Okay, so now that has been said, let us take a closer look at the options. There are 4 different groups to choose from. For group 1, I will be working with the Wildwood Tarot deck. Group 2, I will be working with the Green Menagerie deck. For group 3, I will work with the Dreaming Way Tarot deck. For group 4, I will be working with the Inner Voice Tarot deck. Once you have selected your group, please head on over to the description box or the pinned comment in the comment section down below, where the timestamp for each group is provided so that you may skip ahead to your reading. And if you are ready, let us get started. Let's go! For those of you who chose the Wildwood Tarot deck, let us now take a look at your past, present, and future. For your past, we have the 5 of Stones, Endurance. For your present, we have the Ace of Stones, the Foundation of Life. And for your future, we have both the 8 of Bows with Hearthfire and the 7 of Arrows with Insecurity. In your past, I see hardships and challenges. There could have been a lot of conflict in an environment that you were in, or you yourself could have experienced a lot of inner conflict. I do see a disconnect between you and possibly your inner child and or your childlike essence. In your past, I see that you had to endure and therefore find ways, coping mechanisms, to protect yourself because you did not feel safe in your environment. You may have been in situations and or relationships that were quite unstable and or unpredictable. You could have been surrounded by 1 or more people who were quite temperamental and that you yourself felt like you needed to walk on eggshells when you were around them. There could have been a lot of stress and or tension. You could have felt a lot of pressure to meet certain expectations that were either placed on you or that you grew up believing were important and that you had to meet at a certain age and or stage of your life. That resulted in you pursuing certain things, for example, career paths, relationships, lifestyles that didn't really resonate with you and or you didn't really align with, but you ended up pursuing them nonetheless because they were expected of you, or they were the path, the route that others were wanting for you to take. Therefore, you doing things and or pursuing things that were not in alignment with you could have resulted in you experiencing a lot of inner turmoil and or conflict, because there was this dissonance between what you were doing and what you actually wanted and or believed in. Yet, through all these challenges, this turmoil, possibly even chaos, I see that you never lost hope and that you never let your inner spirit, your inner fire extinguish. You always had hope or maintained your hope, as well as allowed yourself to pursue and or do the things that you felt genuinely drawn to. So even though you might have been pursuing something that you weren't really aligning with, I feel that on the side, you were doing something that you felt resonated more with you. So maybe you had certain hobbies, or you allowed yourself to engage in certain healthy activities that brought you a lot of joy and allowed for your inner child or inner spirit to really come through and play, have fun, enjoy themselves. So I see that in the past, you might have felt like you couldn't really express yourself or allow yourself to be your complete passionate self because of external factors, or because the environment you were in felt unsafe or was limiting in some way. It could also be that you had to do and are focused on something that maybe you weren't very passionate and or enthusiastic about. For the meanwhile, as you found your footing and or build your finances or acquired more resources. So you could have been working a job that really didn't fulfill you, but it did provide you with the benefits or the finances that you were needing to survive and or thrive at that time of your life. Because I also see that in the past, you were working on building and or initiating, starting something. And or what you were doing was to build upon something that you had already started in the past. And that could have been quite challenging. Yet you managed it, because with the Ace of Stones in your presence, I am seeing stability. So for those of you who are working on finding and are acquiring, creating financial stability and or security for yourself, you have done so. Your efforts, your hard work, your perseverance has paid off. The Ace of Stones, also known as the Ace of Pentacles, speaks about new financial opportunities, financial new beginnings. It is a card that indicates security, prosperity, as well as stability. So you have built something that is quite stable, and that if given the opportunity and the upkeep, the maintenance, let's say, it will continue growing and or prospering. Also, in the past, some of you could have struggled to find a place to settle in, or you could have been without a home, without a place to rest and or to feel safe in. And in your present, or very near in your future, you have found a place that you feel safe and secure to be in. For some, this might be indicating you purchasing your first home, or finding your forever home, or having the finances, the resources to rent a space or to invest in one. For those of you who dreamed to build your own home from the ground up, it seems like you have done so. I also see that you have settled down somewhere. So you could have found a place that you feel at home in, so much so that you are confident about starting the next chapter of your life there, or starting a family, a home there, creating roots in that place. I also see that you have found a community, or that you have found people that are like family to you. These are people who you might consider to be soul family members or your tribe. For those of you who have always wanted to be part of a family, or have your own family, or having a healthy relationship with family members, I see that in your present, you have what it is that you were desiring. I see that you have either started your own family and or become part of a family that you feel very safe in, that you feel a strong sense of belonging with, and or I see you having healed certain family wounds and therefore healing family relationships and or strengthening them. I see you having found home somewhere or with someone or with a group of people, possibly a community. I see you feeling a lot more safe and secure, not only in an environment, but also within yourself. I see also a lot of maturity on your part. You having understood what seemed unclear to you at some point in your past. You having made amends with your past and or forgiven and or letting go of what you had trouble letting go of that was hindering and or blocking you in some way. I see you having grown because you have learned a lot from your past. The phrase generational wealth is coming to mind. So a lot of you could have built something that could be passed down to future generations. And I'm sensing a feeling of pride, knowing that you have created something that is quite stable enough for it to last a long time or for it to be passed down or to continue existing and or providing others with resources, information, and or entertainment possibly for years and years and years and years to come, even after your time on this earth, on this plane, has come to an end. I am sensing contentment with the Ace of Stones. In the present, I also see you benefiting and or enjoying from the fruits of your previous labor and hard work and or of an investment. So if in the past you invested on something, this investment is giving you rewards, profits in the present. And as mentioned, it does have the potential to give you even more or to continue growing. And I also see that you have built something that is quite sustainable or self-sustaining. A lot of you are benefiting from a passive income. And actually, I see you having more than one source of income, and each one is doing quite well. So I am seeing financial prosperity. In this time of your life, there isn't a lot of concern and or worry about money. There not being enough. You are in quite a good financial place. I also see that you have or you are planning to purchase a land and or acquire either one or more properties or assets. I also see you having a vehicle or some kind of mode of transportation under your name. So you have more than one property and or possession under your name. And I also see you filled with stories of your past, stories that you were told by those who you came across with throughout your journey. So some of you could actually be thinking about sharing your life experience, your journey with others, or you could really enjoy talking about your past or talking about your experiences. And I keep seeing someone with their grandchildren. So you, if you currently have grandchildren, you might really enjoy sharing with them your adventures. Or you are really looking forward to sharing your adventures with your grandchildren in the future. So I do see you planning on extending your family or having a family. And I feel like for a lot of you, that might be a goal of yours, having a large family. And if that is the case, I see that you are currently working on that. And you will be building a beautiful family, that is for sure. Now, others of you could be thinking about actually writing a story, a novel, or a collection of short stories, perhaps, and publishing it. You could already be working on it. And I do see you receiving offers from publishers to get your work out there. And in the present, I do see you having a very successful business or even a chain of franchise. Or you working towards that, you making preparations for that, to branch out and or to extend your business in some way. Some of you may actually even be planning on retiring. Now, in your future, we have the Eight of Bows, which is the Eight of Wands, and the Seven of Arrows, which is the Seven of Swords. Eight of Bows represents fast communication and forward movement. So with the Hearth Fire, I do see you being surrounded by loved ones, by friends, by family. As I mentioned, a lot of you could hope for and or dream about having a large family or being surrounded by loved ones, possibly even creating a space in which you can invite loved ones, maybe be a host of dinner parties and or small events. And if that does resonate with you, I do see that in the cards for you. You will be living that kind of life in the future. I do see prosperity with the Eight of Bows. I see someone who is financially stable, doing financially well, and feeling quite prosperous and abundant within themselves. So I also see generosity with the Eight of Bows. If you are someone who likes to share, who likes to be generous with your time and with your resources as well, I do see you being there for others and others being very grateful for your assistance or your role in their own accomplishments, milestones, or breakthroughs. I see you being celebrated. And for those of you who are wanting marriage, who are wanting to come into union with a life partner, in the future, I do see you either being married or living, coexisting, being in union with a life partner. So by this point in your life, I do see that you have settled down with someone, or you have started a family with someone, or you are working alongside a partner, a romantic partner perhaps, if that is what you are seeking and are wanting, to create and build something or to create a safe space. I keep thinking of a safe space. So I do see you having your own space, or you providing a space for others. So if you have always thought of creating some kind of retreat, or I don't know, maybe building a school or creating a physical space for a community, I see you accomplishing and are doing just that in your future. And I see you doing it alongside another. So like I said, this could be a life partner, a romantic partner, or it could be a business partner, someone who shares in your vision, in your dream, and has the same drive and passion as you. Now, with the Seven of Arrows and insecurity, you could be helping a lot of people who are struggling with trauma or insecurities, who struggle with self-esteem issues, to help them build their confidence, to help them heal, to help them realize that they do not have to remain a victim or remain in a victim mentality. You could help with empowering others, or as mentioned, providing a safe space in which others can feel comfortable and secure enough to start their healing process or to continue with their healing journey. Yet with insecurity, there might be some doubts or insecurity that you are dealing with at this point of your life. And it might be because you're reaching a stage of your life that is requiring for you to look back on your journey. And the feeling I get with the Seven of Arrows is of someone being way too hard on themselves. So if you are someone who aims really high or has really high, maybe even sometimes unrealistic expectations, if you are someone who tends to be quite hard on yourself, then you could be looking back on your journey and feeling like you could have done more or you could have done better. But this is all coming from a very self-critical thinking, because the persona that we have here in the insecurity card is the green woman of this deck, which is the Empress. The Empress is powerful and she is eternal. The green woman is basically, to me at least, Mother Gaia. She's nature, she's life. She is forever, right? So there is nothing that can really harm the green woman. She can only be harmed if she allows for this to happen. So these arrows really can do nothing to negatively affect her and or poison her unless she gives them that power. So I feel like at this point of your life, you will be addressing certain beliefs that you have held on throughout your entire journey up until this point, that maybe you had difficulty and or trouble addressing in the past. because they felt either too big for you or they still hit really close to home. And so by this point in your journey, I feel like you will be ready to address these and let them go. Realize that they really hold no power over you unless you allow it. So I do feel with the insecurity card that you will be addressing insecurities, complexes of your past, possibly even of your childhood. And if there has been up until now a part of you that you've struggled with extending love to and or embracing, or there has been a part of you that has struggled with receiving love, I feel that in the future, that aspect and or part of you will be ready or feel ready to start that healing process in order to receive love and or for you to extend love to it and embrace it. In other words, in the future, you will not only think, but you will also believe and truly feel that all of you is worthy of all of your love. And any blockages that you were or had been experiencing, you will be clearing them in the future. So if at this moment in the present, there's still some things that you are struggling with, or there's still some blockages that you feel you are experiencing, in the future, you will be clearing them. Also, some of you may have in the past and possibly even in the present struggle with people pleasing. You might find it very difficult to say no at times or to turn down certain offers because there is this underlying fear of either you yourself experiencing rejection or you being outcasted or being reprimanded or being disliked. And in the future, I see you addressing that. Because there still might be some people-pleasing tendencies, yet I see you engaging in less of that. Because you are choosing to follow and or take action, behave in ways that you are truly in alignment with, instead of in ways that are more to please others, especially please others' egos. And so I want to say that you are building or growing thicker skin. Like, yes, some commentary and or opinions coming from others might still hurt if they are not, let's say, extremely positive, yet you're not letting that bother you or dictate how you see, view, and feel about yourself. And so in the future, I do see you surrounding yourself with people who truly support you. Not just what you do for them, but they support you as an individual. People who are grateful to you and for you as well. So if you also struggle with letting go of control every now and then, in the future, you will struggle a lot less with that. I see you being okay with not having control all of the time and with letting other people decide and or choose and letting other people have their opinions, even if it does not align with yours. So this to me indicates that your confidence will be improving a lot more. And not only a confidence, but it's your surety in yourself. Knowing that it's okay to be different, knowing that it's okay to have a different opinion and belief from others, knowing that it's okay to stand on your own every now and then. And because the Green Woman, the Empress, can represent the mother, if you have mother wounds that at this moment in time you have found it difficult to address and or to heal, in the future you will be addressing them and or acknowledging how these mother wounds have been affecting you or how they are still affecting you. I also see that something which had a huge influence on you, and not such a positive one, in the future, you are noticing it, realizing what this influence is and what effect it has had on you, and no longer allowing for it to have a huge influence on you. Or in the future, it will no longer have a big influence on you. In other words, with the 7 of Arrows, I see you taking your power back. Either coming out of a victim mentality or no longer feeling a victim to your circumstances or to your past. You are also learning more about your boundaries, how important they are, and how important it is to implement them. You are learning more about your limits, when to draw the line, and who to trust. Okay? But This is what I'm seeing for your past, present, and or future. Remember, this is simply a glimpse into these different timelines or time frames. So if there was something that you were hoping would come up but didn't, I might just have not addressed that because I didn't tap into that specific energy. Because again, we're simply getting a glimpse into these different time frames. Okay? But this is all I'm seeing for now. If you enjoyed this reading, if it brought some guidance, some clarity, then please leave a like or a comment. And if you're new to this channel and you want to stick around for more readings with me, Kim, then please do subscribe. I do offer personal readings. All the information is in my website, and the link to my website can be found in the description box down below. And for all of you who took the time to watch the advertisements or just let them run in the background, thank you so much for that, since that is the simplest way to support me and to support this channel. So if you did, I truly do appreciate it. And before I sign off, I want to give a thanks to Spirit, who assisted me with delivering these messages to you. So thank you, Spirit. And I'm wishing you a wonderful rest of your day or night, depending on when you're watching. And until the next moment, bye-bye. If you chose the Green Menagerie deck, let us now take a look at your past, present, and future. So for your past, we have the Nine of Swords as well as the Four of Cups in the upright. For your present, we have the Two of Swords in the upright as well. And for your future, we have the Knight of Swords. So in the past, I do see a lack of interest or there being some kind of disappointment and or letdown. With the Nine of Swords, there seems to be a lot of stress, anxious thought, or anxious thinking. There might have been something in specific that was occupying your mind most of the time, causing you to worry and or stressing you out. With the Four of Cups, I am seeing that either you weren't very happy with your circumstances, your situation, or what was available to you wasn't exactly what you were looking for or you felt you needed, or it wasn't to your liking. The Four of Cups can sometimes indicate apathy or a lack of interest. And so with the Nine of Swords being here, some of you could have been struggling or dealing with mental health issues. I am seeing signs of depression here possibly, or a lot of sadness, as well as emotional and mental fatigue. I am also sensing overstimulation or signs of being overwhelmed. In the past, there could have been a lot of sensitivity to sensory stimuli, or you could have been constantly high strung. It might have been very difficult for you to focus and or to find balance and or grounding in your day-to-day. It could have been because your environment, your situation in and of itself at this period of your life wasn't exactly stable. Maybe it was chaotic, which induced a lot of stress and feelings of unease. Or this could have been a result of you going through something mentally, emotionally. So in the past, you could have found it very difficult to handle stressful situations, or in order to cope with stressful situations, you could have either disassociated like mentally and emotionally disconnected from your physical body, your environment, or you could have withdrawn or isolated regularly. The Four of Cups is making me think of numbness, like resorting to numbness, or numbness being the coping mechanism your body resorted to in order to deal with the stress, the fatigue, the overwhelming feelings that your body and you were experiencing. With this child staring intensely at these 3 cups, there could have also been hyperfixation going on in the past, maybe even obsessive tendencies, which again is reminding me of overthinking, ruminating. In your past, there could have been something that you were very, very focused on, possibly even hyper fixated on, and being so fixated on this didn't allow for you to either enjoy yourself or consider other options, offers, or focus possibly on other areas of your life. Whatever it is that you were fixating on, if that were your case, it was draining you and possibly even enabling some kind of victim mentality or creating this feeling of stagnation or stuckness. With the Four of Cups, I am seeing someone who has been sitting in a single state of being for way too long. And this is what is creating this feeling or this sensation of being stuck and or stagnant, possibly even powerlessness. Dealing with mental health issues or struggling mentally and emotionally can be very draining. And so if that was your case in the past, where you were dealing with mental health issues or you were processing very heavy emotions, I do sense that did deplete you of your energy quite a bit, and maybe that resulted in you not having enough energy to focus on other things, or in you feeling a sense of numbness, disinterest, or apathy towards the things that normally would excite you or you would have found interesting. Some of you could have also experienced physical health issues in the past. What is coming through in specific are migraines or intense headaches, maybe insomnia, or frequent cases of sleep paralysis. So in the past, you might have experienced a lot of fatigue due to a lack of sleep or a lack of rest or restless sleep, which this fatigue could have made it difficult for you to connect with your environment, be present, be grounded, and even connect with others or connect with your own emotions. Because I am seeing an emotional disconnect, or possibly you not being able to really process or feel through your emotions. In the past, there seems to be a lot of analyzing or intellectualizing your emotions rather than simply feeling through them. Cups are associated with feelings and emotions. And as you can see, this child here is simply observing the cups while being distant from them. And so that is making me think of analyzing, intellectualizing, observing rather than feeling through something, as well as of an emotional disconnect. I'm also sensing anger and, as mentioned previously, disappointment. So those could have been emotions that you were feeling or that were brewing underneath the surface in the past for you. With the Nine of Swords, I'm also sensing a lot of sadness, possibly even grief. There could have also been a lot of questioning and wondering why. Like, why did this happen the way that it did? Why did this happen to me? Why didn't things work out this way or that way? As mentioned previously, there seems to be a lot of ruminating, turning something over and over again in your mind, trying to find an answer, trying to find clarity, possibly even trying to regain some sense of control through thinking about something over and over and over again. So in the past, you could have experienced or felt a lack of control in a situation in your life or in general. And that could have resulted in anger, frustration, or feelings, ideas of powerlessness. But there is a strong feeling of dissatisfaction in the past. Someone wondering why things didn't exactly work out their way, or trying to find the reason as to why they were experiencing what they were experiencing or going through what it is that they were going through. But this cup that is being presented here, it's making me think of a silver lining, a blessing, an opportunity, an exit, a way through or out of this energy, which lets me know that this situation that you were experiencing in the past was not one that you were meant to or that you would be staying in forever. Now, moving on to the present, we have the Two of Swords, which can indicate a lack of clarity or feeling like you don't have all the information that you need in order to make a final decision. So the Two of Swords can indicate pause or a feeling of being stuck as one makes up their mind about something. So in the present, you might be experiencing a lack of clarity, maybe even a lack of vision. For example, not knowing what next steps to take or what it is that you want to create next or focus on next. Yet, what I am sensing the most from this Two of Swords is fear. Being paralyzed by fear, and it could either be a fear of the unknown, a fear of making the wrong move, a fear of failing possibly, or maybe even wasting time. There are a lot of what ifs in the present. What if I choose incorrectly? What if what I choose and or set forth with isn't for me? What if I am disappointed? What if I get my heart broken again? What if I try and don't succeed? What if? And this what if is prolonging the act of making a decision or of taking action, because the Two of Swords is speaking of inaction. And so very similar to the past, I am also seeing a lot of overthinking, ruminating, and with this person being blindfolded, it seems like most of the time is being spent up in one's head. Instead of seeing the reality of a situation, one is simply seeing what their mind is conjuring for them, the images, the assumptions, the what ifs. And because I am sensing a lot of fear, it seems like at this point the mind isn't really conjuring very positive or even helpful thoughts, images, or visions. It is simply coming up with that which validates, confirms, and or reinforces fears and concerns that have been there. So in the present, you might be working your mind very hard to find a way, maybe even an alternative, a path, a route that is free of conflict, drama, hassle, that guarantees you the 100% certainty that all will turn out well or as you expect it to. And because the Two of Swords did show up to represent your present, it seems like up until now you haven't found that 100% guarantee or certainty that you are aiming for, which is why you haven't made up your mind or haven't taken action or made a final decision. So in the present, I feel like doubt and fear, possibly even irrational fear, uncertainty is what is dictating or influencing most of your actions and or decisions. Because remember, inaction is also a form of action. There could also be something that you are currently contemplating on and you are choosing to take your time with this. Like really think through it, maybe weigh out the pros and cons, inform yourself as best as possible before you move forward with this, or make any kind of final decision. Though honestly, with the Two of Swords, I feel like this is more about assuming what the worst case scenario will be or assuming how something will turn out versus actually informing yourself with facts and using critical thinking or thinking logically about something. This is more, I feel like the Two of Swords is more so talking about working with your imagination or letting your fears drive your imagination to influence your judgment or your perception of something. So if any of this is resonating with you in the present, it's important to have that awareness, to know when it is our fears that are influencing us or are holding us back or are paralyzing us in some way, as well as being aware of when we are starting to be quite unrealistic or irrational, or when we are having unrealistic expectations. Because although there is always a path of least resistance, I personally haven't heard of yet or witnessed for myself a path, a direction that is free of any challenges or that won't come with any surprises. Because life is filled with the unexpected, and energy in and of itself is something that is quite malleable and therefore is always changing, which is why it is always said that the future is not set in stone, because it really isn't. There's always variables. And so though there might be paths and routes that have less risk, let's say, I'm not sure, I can't say with 100% certainty that there is going to be a path or route that has zero risks. So swords being associated with the realm of logic, thought, the mind, I do sense you to be someone who is very logical, intellectual. You intellectualize your emotions. You like to think things through. You're observant, maybe even analytical. Yet the mind is so powerful that if we're not discerning with it, it can get the best of us. And most of your cards are swords. There's only one card that is cups, and it's the Four of Cups, which often indicates apathy. So there is nothing wrong with being logical, yet it's important to practice being practical as well, in order to know, to better discern when we are seeing reality versus a mirage, an illusion, when we are basing our decisions, actions on an assumption versus a thought out possibility. Because with the Two of Swords, I feel like you might often like to prepare or be 2 steps ahead, even more, in order to prevent surprises or the unexpected, or reduce the likelihoods of it. And there's nothing wrong with that. Yet the Two of Swords reminds us that sometimes this tendency of wanting to predict, wanting to foretell, wanting that guarantee or certainty can result in inaction, stagnation, in not making any kind of decision, in sitting on the sidelines, or letting just possibilities run in our mind without ever really moving, right? Without ever allowing ourselves to experience, to live. So yeah, it's just important to be mindful of that. And this illustration in the Two of Swords is also reminding me a lot of Four of Swords, which speaks of rest and meditation. For whatever reason, I was reminded of Sleeping Beauty. So in the present, you might be experiencing a pause, or you could be allowing yourself a pause, a reprieve from the day-to-day, from being on the go, in order to collect yourself or collect your thoughts, to organize your thoughts or make up your mind about what it is that you do want to focus on, maybe finding clarity on what it is that you truly prioritize, what your values are, and so forth. Because for the future, we do have the Knight of Swords, which is a card that speaks of action. And the Knight of Swords, out of all the knights, I feel it can be the most impulsive one, or the most rash with their decisions, right? Sword energy is all about the mind, thoughts, making decisions. So for your future, I do see you in a completely different energy than from your past and your present, because I see you seizing the moment. You not hesitating in going for the thing that you want, or taking action when you feel inspired to do so. I will say though, with the Knight of Swords, I am sensing a little bit of recklessness, or like I mentioned previously, impulsivity. So there seems to be still a little bit of fear in the future, but now it's being processed or manifesting differently. Whereas in the past, fear could have resulted in you not taking any form of action or prolonging making a decision. In the future, I feel it's the complete opposite, where fear might be driving you to be impulsive, to take action right then and there, to move things along, or maybe even push for certain things to move at a specific speed or pace, because what is coming through with the Knight of Swords is FOMO, which is the fear of missing out. Like, for example, if I don't take action now, I'm going to miss out on an opportunity. So I must take action. And then one does without thinking things through. So I feel like based on what we have seen in the past and in the present, what we are seeing now in the future, what you are learning through this stage or phase of your life here, because remember, we're simply looking at a time in your life. This isn't your entire lifetime. So this could be a phase, a stage that you're going through, a cycle. And what I'm seeing here is through this stage phase, whatever it may be, the lesson that you are learning is of balance. Understanding that it is okay to intellectualize, to be logical and rational, as well as be intuitive. It is okay for you to take your time, be patient with things, consider your options, as well as take action without having all the information or without that 100% certainty or guarantee. I feel like you are learning to find a middle ground or be comfortable with the unknown, be comfortable with those feelings of uncertainty, because even though that's what most of us aim for, to be certain, to be confident, even when we are feeling confident about something, there might still be doubt, there might still be fear. And if that doubt and fear exists, if it is there, that doesn't mean or indicate or signify that there is something wrong, that things aren't going to turn out well. Because it's normal to not be 100% sure of something. I feel like it's rational, it's logical, it shows a sign of intelligence because it demonstrates that you are very well aware that there are variables, right? That anything can happen at any given moment. And that is going to be true in every situation. And so I feel like you are learning to find some kind of balance, or you are learning how to understand your fears, maybe even how to work with it, because fear isn't necessarily a bad thing. Fear is there for a reason. It has a purpose. Without fear, we wouldn't have those instinctual reactions of not doing certain things that are dangerous, right? Yet there is fear that is helpful, and then there is irrational fear that is not so helpful. So it's good to have a nice understanding or grasp on our own thinking patterns, our mind, what our fears are, to have that level of discernment and judgment to know when we are focusing too much on an irrational fear, when we are being impulsive versus going along with our intuition, with our instincts. So the Knight of Swords does also indicate assertion. So in the future, I do see you being assertive, or a lot more assertive than in the past. I do see you taking a lot more risks. And with this red background, I think it's this Knight's cape, it is making me think of someone who is possibly even purposefully taking some, I want to say, thought out risks in order to maybe create breakthroughs or learn. So this is making me think of desensitization or sensory adaptation, or of exposure. Like, for example, if there is a fear about horses, instead of avoiding the horses, you are creating a safe environment in which you expose yourself to horses in order to face that fear or become desensitized to horses, where you're not having the same fearful reaction to them because now you're familiar with them. Because most of our fears, I know it's not true for every case, but some of our fears, let's say, do come from our imagination, or they are built up and enabled, aggravated by our own imagination. So when reality doesn't match the imagination, that's when possibly fears can be reduced and or overcome or worked through. So I feel like in the future, you're in a way choosing to take your power back. You're choosing to, for some, get out of a victim mentality or break out of this idea of being powerless. And it's so interesting how this Knight seems to be running towards this energy of the present and the past. So for the future, I do see you taking some kind of action. I do see you working on one or more things. I do see you working through your fears, possibly insecurities or complexes. I do see you take a new and different approach to life and working on your nervous system, better understanding your nervous system, your parasympathetic, sympathetic nervous system, understanding your body, your mind. And it seems like in the future you are rebelling against your maybe limited beliefs or ways of thinking that in the past created a lot of fear or self-doubt. It's like I am seeing someone rebelling or standing up to like that negative self-talk or that little voice inside of our heads that we all have that oftentimes is very, very mean to us or discourages us from pursuing our dreams or believing in ourselves and so forth. So yeah, I feel like you're standing up to that negative little voice inside of your head and choosing a different path, choosing to fight for yourself, choosing to stand up for you and try something new, try something different, a different approach. So I am sensing a lot of bravery with the Knight of Swords because this isn't exactly easy. It does require some level of bravery to face our fears, to do something outside of the norm or something that is outside of our comfort zone. And honestly, based on the cards that you received for your past and your present, you guys have been working through a lot and, battling our thoughts and trying our best to understand our mind, our way of thinking isn't, as mentioned, exactly easy, and it does require a lot of bravery. And so you guys are brave. You guys are very brave and courageous, and you have done a lot, so much. And I can understand if at this moment you're feeling exhausted because being up in our heads, trying to figure ourselves out, trying to discern what is true, what isn't, organizing our thoughts and so forth, it can be very exhausting. It can be so exhausting. And so the fact that you're still here doing the work and trying to figure yourself out and trying to plan your life and keep living your life and tending to your responsibilities, tending to yourself, that's something to applaud, really, because it does take a lot of effort simply to just deal with our thoughts on top of dealing with life in general. So with the Knight of Swords representing your future, I am seeing that whereas in the past you might have not really known exactly where to direct your focus and your energy or attention to, in the future you will. You will have better clarity or better direction, and I feel like you will also have a better discernment, because this Knight of Swords just made me think of a knight who is setting off to slay the dragon. So it's like you're better understanding what is a false narrative fueled by fears or insecurities versus what is true, factual, or the actuality of a situation. And I do see a lot of you working on regulating your nervous system. Maybe you are already doing that. And if so, I see you continuing to work on this in the future. And I do get the feeling that in the future, you are going to experience a major breakthrough. It could be in terms of your mental health, mental well-being, or something to do with your persona, with how you identify, how you view yourself, your self-image. Because I feel like in the future, you would have released one or more insecurities or maybe complexes. I do see travel. So, though I will say with this knight having this armor, in the future you will have stronger boundaries, or you will be very clear as to what your boundaries are and how to implement them. Yet, I do see some kind of defensive mechanism. So there could be still some kind of resistance towards emotions, allowing yourself to feel through your emotions fully, or with connecting with your environment or connecting with others. Because this armor is making me think of an emotional armor or of a barrier. And I am picking up on a little bit of cynicism or even stoicism with the Knight of Swords and defensiveness. Constantly being on the defensive or being ready to cut out of your life, cut connections with people who oppose you or do not agree with you, your thoughts, your beliefs, or maybe even trigger certain wounds or insecurities of yours. Because with the Two of Swords, what is coming through is that if someone were to try to remove this blindfold that you are wearing, try to present something different than what you are currently perceiving, you might get aggravated by that. I don't see you taking well to that. It's like you have your mind set on the reasons behind something and you want to keep believing in this. You don't want to see any other way, because this belief, this perception that you have validates a certain feeling that you're holding on to or that you have become attached to. And again, this could be like anger, frustration, maybe even pain, because that's what I'm seeing with this red cape. So yeah, again, we're only looking at a moment, a stage, a phase of your life. And I'm not going to say whether something is right or wrong. I'm just here to share with you what I'm seeing based on the cards and what I'm picking up based on the current energy. So I will leave it up to you to decide whether this is a route, a path, a direction you want to keep moving in, if the messages are resonating with you. If not, remember, energy is malleable. It changes based on our current actions, our way of thinking, our approach to life. Because with the Knight of Swords, I do get this sensation of someone constantly being on guard or fighting against the world, fighting against others, or keeping themselves stoic as a way of protecting themselves, as a coping mechanism perhaps, or keeping themselves stoic, cynical, or maybe even a little numb as a way of protecting themselves or not getting their hopes up. So this feels like a decision one is making to move in this way, to approach life in this way, because they think this is the only way or the best approach to life. This doesn't have to be your future energy if this is not a belief you want to practice, or this is not the approach that you want to have towards life in general. Because if you choose to move in a different direction, then your future is represented by the Ace of Cups. Which speaks of emotional fulfillment. It speaks of someone who is connected with their emotions, someone who open to change and new beginnings. The Ace of Cups indicates love, unconditional love, and new relationships. So in the future, if you were to choose to move in a different direction where you allow yourself to open up to others, allow vulnerability in your life, then I do see you having a community or you having relationships in your life that are very fulfilling emotionally and that are gratifying as well. These will be relationships that are based on mutual trust, respect, and understanding. And the Ace of Cups also does indicate or represent serenity, peace, calm, tranquility, a sense of being full or fulfilled. Yeah, so your future can play out differently based on your approach. So if you approach emotions, feelings, vulnerability as an enemy, as something to be wary of, or as something to ignore or to push aside, then you might be heading more in the direction of the Knight of Swords. Whereas if you are open to your emotions, allow emotional flow, do not resist vulnerability or see it as the enemy, then you will be heading more in the direction of the Ace of Cups. But it is up to you. It is your decision what you feel is more in alignment with you or what you would like to experience in your future. The Ace of Cups also makes me think of like spiritual connection and wholeness as well. Feeling whole, feeling complete, feeling at peace, at ease with oneself. Okay, but these are all the messages I am seeing with these cards. Again, if you enjoyed this reading, if it resonated, then please leave a like or a comment. And if you're new to this channel and you want to stick around for more readings with me, Kim, then please do subscribe. I do offer personal readings. All the information is on my website, and the link to my website can be found in the description box down below. Thank you so much for watching until the very end, and a huge thank you to all of you who took the time to watch the advertisements or just let them run in the background, since that is the simplest way to support me and to support this channel. So if you did, I truly do appreciate it. And before I sign off, I want to give a thanks to Spirit, who assisted me with delivering these messages to you. Thank you, Spirit. And I am wishing you a wonderful rest of your day, afternoon, or night, depending on when you're watching. And until the next moment, bye bye. So if you chose the Dreaming Way Tarot deck, let us now take a closer look at your past, present, and future. So for your past, we have Justice. For your present, we have the Two of Pentacles. Ooh, wow, okay, that was fast. And for your future, we have the Queen of Cups. Okay. So Justice is associated with the zodiac sign Libra, and this being a major arcana card, I feel like in the past you experienced a very pivotal and a crucial moment in your life. You could have also experienced a major breakthrough or some kind of leveling up. There could have also been very harsh or hard lessons that you went through during this time in your life. And because I didn't mention the zodiac sign Libra, you yourself might be a Libra sun, moon, or rising, or Libra season in and of itself could have been a very pivotal time of your past. Like this past that we are looking at in this reading could have been experienced during Libra season. Yet, it could also be that a Libra, Sun, Moon, or Rising person played a very significant role at this time in your life. Because I am sensing some kind of influence. So, in the past, someone or something could have had a major influence in your perception or your approach to life, a specific area of life, your beliefs or your belief system. I am thinking of a catalyst. So someone or something could have come in as a catalyst to trigger either an awakening or to help you become aware of certain limitations or an imbalance in your life or between areas of life, an imbalance in yourself, or some kind of disharmony that was occurring either in your outer reality or in yourself. So I do sense that in the past you either went through a major transformation or you began a transformation. It seems like this past we are looking into was the beginning, the start of a journey, of a new phase, chapter, or even cycle of your life. It feels very pivotal, very crucial. I know this is the Justice card, but I keep thinking of the Judgment card. And for whatever reason, the phrase that keeps coming to my mind is Judgment Day, Judgment Day, Judgment Day. So in the past, it seems like you had to make a very important decision. That could have been the case for a lot of you, where you actually had to make a very important life decision, like maybe choose between career paths. If you were a student, choose a major, or maybe choose where you were going to live, reside, settle down in, if you were going to commit to something or not, because Justice can also speak about contracts or partnerships. But I'm also sensing that whatever decision you had to make in the past was more on a subconscious level or on a soul level. It's like this is a point in your life where you were either choosing what path you were going to take, embark on, or what narrative you were going to follow. With the scales, I am being reminded of the quantum leap theory of being able to jump timelines or shift your timelines. And the word initiation is coming to mind. So some of you could have been going through some kind of an initiation on a soul level, where your soul was deciding, or you at a subconscious level were deciding what to follow, what to believe in, what to stand by. So I am sensing that for a lot of you, this past that we are looking into could have been a very confusing one, or one that induced maybe a lot of self-doubt or brought about a lot of questions, like questioning your certain belief systems, maybe even ways of being, approaches. There could have also been some kind of identity crisis going on in the past, feeling a bit unfamiliar with yourself or ungrounded maybe, because you were going through some kind of transformation, or you were maybe tapping into new aspects of yourself, getting acquainted with your psyche possibly, because this person being dressed in this white garment, it's making me think of rebirth. So I do sense that in the past you did go through some kind of rebirth. Again, I keep mentioning this word, some kind of transformation, maybe even awakening, like a spiritual awakening. But it more so feels like there was a lot of awareness, maybe self-awareness going on in the past, and that could have been quite confusing or maybe even overwhelming at times, because with this person being blindfolded, it is making me think of someone who is choosing to go within, someone who is focusing more on one's inner world, one's psyche, one's emotional state of being in order to better understand themselves and understand themselves in relation to their environment or this world. I feel like in the past you were working to find balance or create balance within yourself, or to regain that balance possibly. Also, justice is making me think of someone who is practicing forgiveness or is working through a lot of grievances, maybe pains, hurts, to find that forgiveness in order to cleanse, release, and find relief. Again, this white garment, it's making me think of a clean slate, of clearing the old, whatever was stuck and or repressed or suppressed, in order to have that clean slate, in order to have that clarity, so that decisions being made from here onwards won't be decisions based on past hurts, past beliefs, doctrines even, or patterns that at this point in your life you were no longer resonating with, or had become aware were holding you back, or were simply keeping you in a loop that you no longer wanted to be in. Justice is also making me think of the law. So some of you could have been dealing with the law, government issues, or doing some important government official process, which could have been a really long process. One that required of your patience and your trust. Yeah, because I feel like in the past you really had to rely on trust a lot, or on faith possibly. This could have been a point in your life where you really felt it necessary to have something to believe in, or to create that trust, maybe with the divine, or with a higher power, or simply with yourself. The trust in you to overcome whatever challenges might arise, or to find a way through anything that felt difficult, tough, or uncertain. Because I did mention the law, a lot of you could have been practicing the law, or maybe going to law school at this time in your life, or you could have been pursuing some kind of higher education, could have been enrolled in an institution. And again, I am sensing that this time in your life wasn't exactly easy. It came with a lot of trials and tribulations, and it did ask of your patience. I feel like in the past you guys practiced so much patience, and you really learned how to, or you found yourself needing to work on and rely on your intuition. Because I feel like during this time in your life, things weren't exactly clear, or they weren't so obvious. Like, there were a lot of things that either felt hidden from you, or were a mystery to you, or had yet to be revealed. And so you really had to at times rely on your intuition, maybe your instincts, or your logic, or your reasoning, critical thinking, in order to find your way through ambiguous, situations or times of uncertainty. But what I'm sensing with the Justice card is that you never lost hope. And even though there might have been times of uncertainty, you never gave in or gave up, is how it's coming through. You persevered, you continued on, you continued to use your judgment. That's what I'm seeing with the scales, and your discernment, which is what I'm getting from this person holding up this sword. Like, even if things were unclear, you used these two tools of yours to make the best decisions, to choose your path. Yeah, I feel like in the past, you were being given the opportunities to strengthen your intuition, to build that self-trust, to believe more in your own judgment, in your own discernment, or to use those tools of yours. Know how to work with them. Know when to whip them out. I keep thinking of the Judgment card. So the Judgment card could be of relevance or significance for some of you guys. Maybe that is the card that often represents you when you are getting a reading or when you are pulling cards out for yourself. But I see major realizations occurring in the past. So many revelations. And in my mind, I was seeing someone flipping through pages, and I was thinking of the word awakening. So I feel like you went through more than one awakening, like several awakenings, maybe consecutively, back to back in the past. You could have experienced one or more tower moments, or a falling of, I want to say, doctrines, beliefs, ideas, perceptions. I'm now thinking of onions and layers of Shrek. It's like you were peeling layers and layers, and revealing new layers and finding out more about yourself. And I feel like in the past, the aim, whether it be at a conscious or maybe even subconscious level, was to better understand yourself or get to the core of who you are, possibly. Yeah, with this white garment, it's making me think of someone who is wanting to get to know the real them, or understand what that even means. Like, what does it mean to be authentic? What does it mean to be the real me? That sort of thing. There could have also been a lot of inner conflict going on in terms to like values, and what do you value? What is important to you? The Justice card also speaks of integrity and morals. So there could have also been some shifts or maybe concerns or questioning about your morals. I'm now being reminded of Pocahontas and the compass, how she keeps dreaming of a compass that just keeps spinning without direction. So this point of your life, you could have felt like you were lacking direction, or like maybe your moral compass was a little bit off, or like you couldn't find your footing, your grounding, because you weren't maybe so sure of yourself. Because again, I feel like at this time of your life, you were working to build and strengthen that self-trust. So there could have been moments of self-doubt. Again, when I say the past, present, and future, I'm not looking at your entire life. So this could be just like a stage, a phase in your life. Like this could be the past, present, and future of a single year, perhaps, or of a decade in your life. You know, it depends. Yet, what I'm sensing with the Justice card is that this period, regardless of how long it was a period in which a lot happened, like a lot. So if it was a short period of like less than a year, still a lot of stuff went down during this time. It might have felt like you going through this, it might have felt like you had already lived a lifetime, or like you were living a completely different life, because there was just so much to take in, so much to process, so many unveilings, so many awakenings, so many realizations, various profound and insightful, I was going to say the word prophetic, moments as well. For a lot of you, during this period, you could have also experienced some form of psychic awakening. Maybe you became aware of your psychic abilities, or you just became more familiar with psychic abilities, what they were. You became more aware or acquainted with the idea of energy, how to work with it, and so forth. Maybe with the law of attraction, the law of assumption, manifesting, and so on. But with this person having this like blue hue to them, like their lips being blue and their cheeks being stained with the color blue, it's making me think of an emotional awakening or an emotional purge as well, where a lot of that which you repressed or suppressed came to the surface. And again, that could have been very confusing or overwhelming because I feel like a lot was felt through during this time. And most of what came up might have felt like out of the blue. So, for example, you might have found yourself crying at random moments, and it might have felt like out of the blue you were experiencing this sadness, but in reality, this wasn't for no reason. Like, what you were feeling through at that time that felt out of the blue to you was actually something that you had been repressing. It was like this cleansing that you were experiencing and going through. Because remember, the body is so intelligent. So the body often remembers the pains, the hurts, the traumas that we experience, and it holds on to it. And so oftentimes it is through crying, through these kind of emotional releases or outbursts, that the body is able to release and to heal or to process whatever it is that it experienced. And so I feel like you did a lot of that work, a lot of that processing during this period of your life. So it does feel pretty intense. It does feel like, you were kind of balancing the scales and doing a lot of work. It feels like you were undertaking a lot in such a short amount of time or span of time. At least that's what it feels like to me. But I really don't know how far into the past we are looking into. I don't really know the span of time this past is pertaining to, because it will differ and vary for each one of you. Yet to me, it feels like a lot happened, or you went through a lot, you processed a lot in such a short amount of time. That's what it feels like to me. Now with the present, we have the Two of Pentacles, which can speak of a balancing act, juggling two things or more at a time. It can indicate someone's attempt at finding balance in their life, or in an area of life, or between different areas of life, and so forth. And because we do have this energy of the number two pentacles being juggled, it can also speak about ups and downs, a fluctuation. So I feel like in the present, you're still choosing between two things. I did mention that with the Justice card, you could have been in the process of deciding upon something, making a very important life decision. And I feel like in the present is pretty much the same. It's like this energy here of the Justice card is rolling over into the present, like it's still there. So maybe you haven't made any kind of decision as of now. You're still debating, because I am sensing this back and forth. And this back and forth, possibly indecisiveness, is creating a slowing down. So I need to be careful with how I phrase this, because I'm not sensing any stagnation. I'm not sensing you being stuck. It's more like things are happening in slow motion, because you have yet to make up your mind or choose something without looking back. It's like being assertive about your decision, because I do feel like in this situation you would need to choose upon something. Because sometimes with the Two of Pentacles, I can confidently say that you are being encouraged to juggle two or more things, that it will be fine and perfect for you to do so. Yet in this case, for this spread, I feel like you are being encouraged to choose one thing, because it feels like something is waiting for you to make up your mind to choose. And it's not until you choose that then you can move forward. So the feeling I'm getting with the Two of Pentacles is of being in a limbo, like right in between an ending and a beginning. Because I feel like the moment that you make up your mind, the moment that you choose, that you decide to hold on to the one pentacle, that's when things will move very quickly for you. It is almost going to feel like the turning of a page or of a leaf. The changes that you will experience, or that forward movement, it's gonna be almost instantaneous. And it's gonna be quite, maybe drastic is not the word, but it's gonna be very noticeable, I want to say. And it's so interesting how we have this person who seems to be right in the midst of taking a step forward, right? So it again reminds me of being right in the middle of something. So it's like as soon as this person holds on to the one pentacle that they want to move forward with, they will be able to take that next step. And once they do, they are in a completely different environment, scenario. From night, we move on to daylight. So at this time of your life, in the present, you could feel like something is on the works, like you are in the midst of a major change or a breakthrough. You could feel a change in the air, or like something major is about to happen. But there could be a little bit of like restlessness and or hesitation or worry, because you're not so sure what is about to happen or how it's going to come to be, like this change, for example. And that might be because you have yet to make up your mind. I'm not so sure what this may be about. I mean, as mentioned before, just as an example, this could be about like a career choice, like deciding what career to take, or maybe where to settle down in, or what to focus on. But I feel like this is a little bit more deep and more complex what this decision is about, since I feel it's about what you believe in, especially what you believe in about yourself, like the person that you want to be, or the person you want to identify as, or like how you see yourself. I feel like that's what you're deciding upon. It's more deep than how I'm going to phrase it, but this is how it came to mind. It's like someone weighing out, am I this person or am I this person? Do I want to live my life this way or this way? What do I choose to believe in? That's the feeling I'm getting from this Two of Pentacles. Because ultimately, we end up behaving and acting in ways that go accordance with our beliefs. And I'm also picking up on this sensation of someone outweighing whether they allow themselves to live the life that they want, or whether they live the life that they think they are worthy of and or deserve. And I mean, this could vary, because if someone is struggling with self-esteem issues, or, you know, doesn't believe themselves to be worthy of what they want, they could be settling for something that is less than what they actually desire, want, and are actually worthy of, right? So yeah, I feel like during this period of your life, whatever phase, stage we're looking into, you're learning the importance of your beliefs, your mindset, and your self-image. And how you do have free will, how it's ultimately you who decides how you experience your reality and what you make of it. So I feel like this is a pivotal time for you, yet you might not be so aware of it, or it's not as intense for you, because I feel like most of this decision making, it's happening at a subconscious level. It's happening maybe even at a soul level. Of course, you know, there could be a lot of decisions that you are making consciously. There could be a lot of changes that you are actively making in your life through awareness. And that is helping to direct your life in a certain direction. Yet I do feel like there's a lot that is happening at a subconscious level, because this is tapping into your core beliefs. What you truly feel worthy of, what you truly accept as your reality. This could also be talking about goals. Like, do you aim for that dream, or do you maybe settle for something else? And I keep using the word settle because I do sense that is an option. Like someone's settling for something. Like I'm settling or I'm compromising on this instead of going for that other thing. Yet, as you can see, the Two Pentacles here, they're very similar to one another. So at the end of it all, there's no right or wrong decision. It's just what you end up choosing and whether you are being sincere in your choice. That's it. I feel like that's the most important thing, like sincerity. For example, if I am aware I'm making this choice, it's because I sincerely believe in it, or this is what I want. And so I know that looking back, there won't be any regrets because this is a choice that I made. So I feel like that's the ultimate goal here. You choosing something that it's not that you are sure of, but that you can stand by, more like. And I do see you making a decision because we do have the Queen of Cups here. And the Queen of Cups is a water sign, so Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. So Libra or a water sign season could be of significance, or you could have one of these sun, moon, or rising signs. But the Queen of Cups represents creativity, intuition, psychic awareness. It also indicates someone's emotional awareness. And so for your future, I see you being this Queen of Cups. I actually want to pull out a clarifier for this Queen of Cups. Five of Wands. Okay. So the Five of Wands can indicate competition and conflict. Yet, based on the illustration, it's making me think of someone who is holding on or is not holding back on showing their desire, their need, their want, their longing for something. So I feel like in the future, you know what? This feels more like a message from your future self, suggesting to you to go for the thing that you want. Don't settle, is the message that is coming through from this Queen of Cups. Don't be afraid and don't settle. So the feeling I'm getting, I know a lot of people are not going to like this, but the feeling I'm getting from the future is a bit ambiguous, because this Queen of Cups is very stoic. I'm not getting a lot from her, and it's almost like this queen has an unbiased opinion or a feeling in regards to this energy, the future. And okay. So when it comes to predictions, at least the way I see it and what I've come to learn is that nothing is certain, because the future is not set in stone. And so things can change at any given moment, because energy fluctuates. It changes in relation to our actions, our beliefs, and so forth. And so the future we are looking into is a bit of a blank, because it hasn't been set in stone, since you have yet to make a decision. So this Queen of Cups right here, your future self is looking to you and saying it's your call. So they're simply advising you to be sincere. And the Queen of Cups rules the realm of emotions and feelings. And actually here in the background, I don't know if you can see it. Actually, there is this, what appears to be a shape of a heart. So this is going to sound a bit cliche and cringy, but the Queen of Cups is advising you to follow your heart. Follow your heart, because with justice having showed up for your past, I feel like, and you will know if this is true, if it does resonate with you, that you are someone who has to follow and or choose that which they truly believe in. Because if your heart is not in it, then you might often experience this feeling of lack or of dissatisfaction, like there could be something more. So it is in a way important for you to follow your heart. Move about life with integrity and do that which you genuinely believe in and aligns with your morals, with your values. Yeah, I feel like the Queen of Cups is simply saying, don't be afraid or don't hesitate to reach out for the thing that you want, to give yourself a chance to try. Because if you don't, you might look back on the past and wonder why you didn't just give yourself that chance to try, the very least, or to give yourself a chance at something that you truly wanted. And I mean, the Queen of Cups, this is queen energy. So in the future, regardless of your choice now, you seem to be in a pretty good space or place. You seem to have acquired a lot. I see you having your own space, your own place. And if you were or are hoping to have a child, be a parent, have your own family, or start your own family, I do see that in the future for you. You being a parent, having your child, or your own family. And I also see you looking over or taking care of something that you yourself created. So this could be like a self-made business, an organization, a passion project, an idea. But I definitely do see you being at the head of something that you yourself created or built from the ground up. So with this queen wearing her coral crown, it appears, in the future you would have achieved a major goal of yours, or you will be acquiring a substantial amount of wealth, of money. I feel like you will be financially stable or well off in the future. And I feel like this Queen of Cups is reminding you that you have it in you and that you can accomplish anything you set your mind to. Yet you need to set your mind on something, because I feel like, a lot of you in the present, you could actually be juggling 2 or more things. You could actually be dividing your attention, your energy amongst several different things. And maybe that isn't really giving you the results that you want, or it's depleting you a lot. Because what I get from the Queen of Cups is that, yes, you do have the ability to take on more than one project, endeavor at a time, have more than one responsibility, yet you do the best when you have one thing to focus on. Because you are someone, at least the vibe I'm getting from the cards is that you give your heart and soul to something. So it's important for you to have something to channel your energy to, or to be clear as to where you are directing and channeling your energy to. Because I'm getting a very determined, and I even mentioned a while back, a stoic vibe from this Queen of Cups. So it seems like once you've set your mind on something, there's no stopping you. You aim to achieve. You are a go-getter. And I don't know if you know that about yourself, because you do have the drive in you, and you have the passion, and you have the means, you have the creativity, you are quite ingenuitive. And I even want to say with the Queen of Cups, you are a pioneer. You are someone who is self-made. At least that's the vibe I'm getting with the Queen of Cups. So it's more about you believing in yourself and you having something to focus on or direct your focus and attention to. And I feel like the Queen of Cups wants to also let you know that you don't have to spend or dedicate all your time trying to figure out what is the thing for you or what is right for you, like what the right decision is, because you can make anything work. So it's more about you choosing, you committing to something. I feel like, with Justice card, it's all about commitment. You trusting in yourself enough to commit to something. So what I mean by that is not having trouble with committing, because you know that whatever you choose to commit to, you will make it work. So I know oftentimes we get caught up in making the right decision, but in reality, there's no right or wrong decision. Things can go either way with anything that we choose. So it's more about making the best of whatever we are choosing at the end. So this Queen of Cups is saying, whatever you end up choosing, have your eyes on that. Like, choose it. Be committed to it. Love it. Nurture it. Because if you do, it will grow into something beautiful, because it is your love and your attention that creates beauty. So if you choose something but then regret it or keep looking back to whatever it is that you left behind, then whatever it is that you chose, it's not going to prosper, it's not going to do as well, because it's going to feel, it's going to sense that hesitation in you, that your attention, your energy is divided. It's here and it's there in the past. So what I'm seeing with the Two of Pentacles and Justice is that this is all about finding completion, finding wholeness in something through your attention, through your commitment to something. It's not about how something works for you, but it's how you work with it. Because like I said, these two pentacles, I feel like they're very similar. Yet if you are in the mindset of the grass is always greener on the other side, then whatever you end up choosing, it's always going to feel like it's lacking in some way, when in reality it isn't. And of course, the Queen of Cups is also reminding you to be aware of when you are settling or lowering your standards because of fear, because of insecurities, because of this idea of what you think you are deserving of or not. Because the Queen of Cups, like I said, I'm getting a very unbiased energy from the Queen of Cups. And that's the Justice card as well. The Justice card is unbiased. It's supposed to be unbiased. So it's like this Queen of Cups is saying there's no such thing as something being for you or not. It's more so about you believing that it is or it isn't. It's how you feel in regards to it. Because something can be for you, but if you don't believe that it is, then you won't feel like it is for you. So choose and decide, not based on what you think is right or what you should end up going with, but rather what what you are drawn to, sincerely drawn to, and find your passion in it. You know what this is also making me think of? That notion or idea of a life mission or a life purpose. What I've seen or come to understand is that a lot of people believe they have a life purpose and that there is only one way to fulfill this life purpose. And so they must find what that way is. And if they don't, they're gonna fail. Yet, what this Two of Pentacles is hinting at is that if you are aiming to find your life purpose and how to accomplish it, there is no one way to fulfill this life purpose or life mission. Because in reality, there are multiple ways to do so. For example, this is just an example, by the way. It's just an example. If someone believes their mission in life is to bring happiness and joy to others, they might think that the only way to do so is to be a comedian, sharing jokes to bring laughter, or through entertainment. Yet, that isn't true, because they can bring joy and happiness through cooking, preparing a delicious meal, or hairdressing, giving someone a wonderful haircut. You know, there are many ways to do something. So I feel like this Queen of Cups is simply saying, trust more in yourself and believe in your choices and believe in your ability to create something beautiful with whatever it is that you have or wherever it is that you are in life, because you can. You are a creator. And your skills, I feel like whatever skills you possess or whatever skills you will be acquiring, they can be applied in different fields. It's almost like you are meant to thrive wherever you go. So it's more about you simply choosing where to go. Don't feel like you need to have it all figured out right now, because things will become clear once you're there, or once you have made your decision, once you get started on something. Like, that's when you can start making plans, or it will become clear to you as what steps you need to take. But if you haven't made up your mind yet and you're trying to figure out the future, how things are going to turn out, it might be a little bit difficult because you have nothing to work with yet. So give yourself a break by not feeling like whatever you end up choosing is going to ultimately determine the rest of your life, because again, we're simply looking at a stage, a phase of your life here. So who knows, maybe after this stage you embark on something new and different, you try something different. And I feel like a lot of you could be pursuing something in terms to either the creative arts, entertainment, or maybe something to do with health, medicine, psychology, therapy, healing, or maybe children, like being a teacher, pediatrician, perhaps, or possibly even something to do with the occult, metaphysics, esoteric. Yeah, because this table here, it's making me think of like mediums and psychics doing readings. Yeah, but I definitely feel like in the future you will have something going for you, like a business of your own. You will have a profession and occupation, something that you are invested in, something that you have practiced for some time, something that you feel a personal connection to or a responsibility for, possibly. And in the future, you could be living or have a residence somewhere near the ocean, the sea, or a large body of water. But I see you being very connected or feeling a strong connection to the sea, the ocean, or sea creatures, perhaps. Yes, but these are all the messages I am getting for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope it brought some guidance, some clarity. If it did, then please leave a like or a comment. And if you're new to this channel and you want to stick around for more readings with me, Kim, then please do subscribe. I do offer personal readings. All the information is in my website, and the link to my website can be found in the description box down below. And for all of you who chose to watch the advertisements or just let them run in the background, thank you so much for that, since that is the simplest way to support me and to support this channel. So if you did, I truly do appreciate it. And before I sign off, I want to give a thanks to Spirit, who assisted me with delivering these messages to you. So thank you so much, Spirit. And I'm wishing you a wonderful rest of your day, afternoon, or night, depending on when you're watching. And until the next moment, bye bye. Hello, if you chose the Inner Voice Tarot deck, let us now take a look at your past, present, and future. so for your past, we have the Seven of Swords with betrayal, deceit, and the message, by faith I perceive the true and real within every circumstance. Okay. Many cards. Oh. Too many cards once again. Maximum 2 cards, please. Okay. And for your present, we have the Page of Pentacles with frugality, practicality, and the message, I am open to unexpected joy and beauty. Okay, too many cards. Too many cards seem to be falling out at once. It's happened more than one time already. So there could be a lot that either your higher self or your spirit guides want to say or share with you, or just a lot that wants to be said. Okay, and then we have the Moon with illusion, concealment, and the message, the light of my being dispels all shadows. Wow. Okay, so in general, overall, I do sense that there is a lot that you want to get off of your chest. Maybe there has been a lot of things that have gone unsaid. There is a lot that maybe you are holding on to, maybe that you have repressed or was suppressed. And it's time to let go of that. It's time to release it, express it in some healthy way that allows for you to release, let go, and cleanse, purge. Are you someone who is quite shy or who has trouble expressing yourself or avoids conflict, or maybe even finds it difficult to cry or to raise your voice? Like every time you try to, you feel like your throat gets tight or your chest gets tight or your voice cracks. I wonder, because like I said, I feel like there is a lot that wants to be said. There is a lot that wants to be expressed. Or maybe you are someone who is very expressive, very open and communicative, yet there is so much that you are still holding on to, like anger, frustration, or maybe you didn't get a chance, an opportunity to say what you wanted to certain people or in a specific situation, and you're still thinking about that, like holding on to that fact that you weren't able to get something off of your chest. And so it's making me think of someone who, after a conversation, they start ruminating about what they could have said, or they start coming up with comebacks, and they feel a little bit of regret that they didn't think of these comebacks in the moment. And so to alleviate themselves of that regret, they keep bringing up the past, that situation, playing it out in their mind how they would have wanted it to play out. Yeah, so if that resonates with you, I don't know if this might help, but maybe writing down what you want to say or what you wanted to express, and then safely burning the paper or just tearing it, crumpling it, throwing it away might help. Or breaking out of that tendency of needing to replay something over and over in your head might help, because that can get pretty addictive. I am noticing with this Seven of Swords, we do have this scissors that is cutting this red string that is holding up this puppet, and this is just making me think of tendencies, habits, and cycles, attachments, things that are holding you down or holding you back or keeping you stuck. So be very mindful and careful of any habits and or tendencies that are keeping you stuck in the past or are having you hold on or feel tied down to things that don't really serve you anymore, or just bring up the same kind of feelings over and over and over again that aren't really conducive or helpful to your growth, your betterment, your happiness, or your peace of mind. Yeah, I know that was very general, but it did come up, so I felt it was important to share. But now let us take a look at your past. We have the Seven of Swords with betrayal and deceit. So in the past, you could have experienced a betrayal. Someone could have broken your trust, or you could have experienced a situation in which you felt manipulated or felt like you didn't really have much of a say, like you couldn't express yourself, speak up, or have your own opinion about things. You felt like you were often judged, or I want to say being surveilled, like your every move was being noticed and was being analyzed, because sword energy does have to do with the mind, our thoughts, our thinking patterns, with logic. And so I feel like there was a lot of mind games going on in the past, or you might have found yourself doing a lot of mental gymnastics, trying to comprehend someone or others, a group of people perhaps, trying to figure out maybe their intentions, or trying to read between the lines, doing your best to keep up with others or stay in the loop. Because again, with this puppet, it seems like in the past, you might have felt like your hands were tied, or like you were being strung along. The image that is coming to my mind is of someone who is being swept away by a crowd. They try to get out of the crowd or go against its flow, yet the crowd is so dense and so massive that they find themselves simply being carried away by it. So there could have been a period in your past where you might have felt like you've lost yourself in a sense, like things were simply happening to you rather than you being an active participant of your life and creating changes and so forth. I'm trying to find the best words to express what is coming up, because what I am seeing in my mind and sensing is a blank. You know that feeling when you look up and you realize, whoa, 3 hours have passed, just like that. And I didn't even notice it or feel it. It's sort of like that, like life was passing you by, or things were happening way too quickly and you couldn't really get a grasp on it, or you couldn't comprehend how you got from point A to point B. It's like memories were blurry or became blurred. It has this feeling of waking up one day and not realize how one thing led to the other, how you got where you ended up, how you became friends with this said person, or you are now in a relationship or still in a relationship with someone, or how you overlooked certain things, because there is this feeling with the Seven of Swords of overlooking something or being strung along or being swept away by something. And then there comes that sense of a loss of control, or a feeling of having little to no control or say in your life or the direction of your life. And maybe in the past, there was a moment in which you had a very impactful experience that got you looking further back on your past and wondering where you missed your stop. It's like, now what is coming to mind is someone on a bus and they're kind of in a daze, and hours are passing by and they're wondering, when am I going to reach my stop? Until finally they realize that the bus passed their stop a few hours back. And it's like, whoa, how did I miss that? How did I not notice that we passed it? Or there's this feeling of looking back and wondering, where were the signs? Or realizing that there were signs all along, but you either ignored them or didn't recognize them, didn't see them. Okay, I'm so sorry if this is just all sounds like me rambling. but I'm trying to find the words to express what is coming through here, and I think I just found it. What I'm sensing in the past is a moment of incredulity. Someone thinking to themselves, what? I can't believe this much time has passed, or I can't believe I am here right now doing this. I can't believe I didn't see the signs or recognize them for what they were. I can't believe that this is happening. So that might have been what you experienced and or felt in the past. And with these scissors cutting the red string that is holding up this puppet, I do feel like there indeed was a moment of realization, of awakening, sort of like awakening from a daze. And this awakening might have been triggered by something like an experience, maybe a letdown, maybe betrayal, maybe deceit, or a break of trust, of loyalty, exposure to the truth of a situation or the true intentions of a person maybe that you were dealing with at that time, that maybe was stringing you along or was not being completely honest with you or playing mind games with you. I mean, I feel like this realization happened differently for each one of you, but it does feel like it came from a tower moment, let's say. An experience that wasn't exactly pleasant and that really had you looking at where you were standing and assessing whether this ground that you were standing on is actually safe or for you, or where you would like to continue standing on and building on. And for a lot of you, because we do have these scissors, the conclusion you reached was that no, this wasn't steady ground, or this wasn't where you would want to continue standing on or building upon. That somewhere along the way you were misguided, or you were strung along, or were following a path, a direction, because that was the direction you were either persuaded to follow or you thought was the best for you at that time, even though it really didn't either meet your standards, or it didn't really feel right to you, or didn't align maybe with your values. Yeah, because I keep thinking of the word daze. Someone being caught in a daze, someone allowing themselves to be, I know I have used this phrase several times already, but strung along. Because with this Seven of Swords, I feel like during this whole situation or period of your life, there was an intuitive feeling or sensation that something wasn't quite right, or that you were forgetting something, that you weren't all that yourself. Like you might have felt ungrounded or a little bit off balance, yet you might not have recognized these signs for what they were, which were an indicator to you that something wasn't quite right, that your actions maybe weren't aligning with your core values, or that someone wasn't being completely honest with you, that your perception of something was a little bit off. And something I'm noticing is that I keep spacing off while doing a reading, and that's making me think of distraction and again of like being in a daze. So yeah, I feel like in the past there was a lot of confusion, and there were a lot of harsh truths that were revealed to you that really created pause in your life and a moment of self-reflection and introspection, as well as reassessment of, is this really how I want to continue living my life, or is this really what I want to continue allowing in my life? Like, do I want to continue being in a daze? Do I want to ignore what I already know, what I have already seen, and just pretend like it never happened? Or do I break out of this? Do I choose truth over deception? Do I choose my mental well-being, my peace of mind over whatever it is that I have already been experiencing? Or do I choose it over numbness? Because I know the Seven of Swords doesn't, traditionally signify this, but I am sensing a feeling of numbness from the Seven of Swords. And oftentimes we can resort to numbness as a way to cope, as a way to protect ourselves, as a survival mechanism. And so if you felt this sense of detachment with your environment, with others, or a disconnect with your own emotions, even with yourself, if you often experienced disassociation, or you found it easier to just play along with what others were doing, do as others did and be influenced by others' opinions, if you found it easier to, be told what to do or go along with other people's narratives and stories, then it could have been your way of coping, of protecting yourself, of not dealing with certain things because they were very painful or maybe even unbearable. But I feel like in the past there was a tower moment. There was a moment in which a part of you said enough is enough. Like, no, I'm awake now. I cannot ignore what I now know. What maybe I have always known. I can no longer turn a blind eye to it. So I choose to free myself. I choose to do things differently. I choose my peace of mind. I choose my mental well-being. I choose my health. I choose me, perhaps. So I choose love. I choose what is good for me and what is good. I know the word good is very vague, but that's the word that came through very strongly, which is why I'm using it. Yeah, so if you experience a very painful moment in the past, I feel like that was a catalyst, or it served as a catalyst to help you make the choice of whether you wanted to break free, from this strength, from mind games, maybe even manipulation, or awake from these days, to now choose for yourself consciously, with much awareness, what the direction of your life will be. And so for the present, we have the Page of Pentacles, which really is a beautiful card, especially for this spread, because the Page of Pentacles speaks of new beginnings. It's new energy. It's a hope for the future. It speaks of potential. And the Page of Pentacles is all about laying foundations, setting new goals for yourself, developing a plan. And I really like the illustration on this Page of Pentacles card because we have a seed that has sprouted. So this lets me know that in the present, you are already in the midst of a new beginning. You already have stepped forth into something new. So some of you might currently be in the midst of developing a plan, but because we do have the seed that has sprouted, I feel like a lot of you are already executing a plan. You are already seeing some kind of progress, or you are already getting results. Something is already in motion. And so some of you could have recently opened up, started a business of your own, or you could have recently started a new job, started working at a new place, or maybe some of you decided to go back to school or enroll in a new course, and maybe switch onto a new major or get certified for something, get your degree. Maybe even complete something is also what I'm sensing. And like I said, you are already in the process of it. So you have already made some progress when it comes to it. And I am sensing such a light feeling from this Page of Pentacles, like this sense of hope and aspiration as well. So I definitely feel like in the present, you do have some kind of goal. And it's very different from the kind of goals or ideas, dreams you had for yourself in the past, because pages represent newness. So this lets me know that you are in a completely different stage or energy of your life than you were in the past. With prosperity, it seems like your prospects are looking great, and you know that, you sense that. So there's a lot of optimism that I'm sensing here in the present. And if it is the case that you are experiencing a little bit of doubt or hesitation, I want to say that this is normal, because this is something new. You are starting something new, and so there are going to be some unknowns. And maybe it's those unknowns that are creating that hesitation, that doubt, that feeling of mystery that creates a little bit of an unnerving feeling in some people. Yet, if you are experiencing this, Don't take it as something bad or negative, because I feel like these emotions, if perceived differently, they can be transformed or transmuted into excitement. Because nervousness and excitement are basically anticipation, right? So what I'm sensing mostly from you is anticipation, because I am sensing excitement for the future, for what is to come, for what you will be open to next. Because I feel like you have freed yourself from something, and this freedom is just such a breath of fresh air for you, and it's so invigorating and so exciting, because now there's so many possibilities. The Page of Pentacles is all about possibilities and prospects and potential. So it's like you are excited about what you might be interested in next, what you might pursue next, what you might do next. It's like your source of excitement is you, your ideas, your innovation, your ingenuity, your aspirations, your motivation, your spontaneity perhaps. It's almost as if you were watching a film and you're focused on the main character and you're excited about what this main character is going to do next, like what their next adventure will be. You're excited to know about their plans because you find this character so interesting and you're so invested in their story. And so you are watching this film about you and you are interested in the main character who is you. This is the energy I see you being in right now in the present, which is very beautiful, because this lets me know that you are focusing on you, your dreams, your goals, what you want. You're investing time and giving yourself space to think about all the possibilities and to allow yourself to venture into new things and to try new things, and not limit yourself to the expectations of others or to the past, because here it seems like in the present, a door of opportunities has opened up for you. And so I wonder if in the present, you are feeling a lot more confident, or you are more self-assured than in the past. Because that's the sensation I am getting with this Page of Pentacles. And in the past, some of you could have been tied down by a contract. Maybe you were working under someone or were working somewhere in which you felt very limited, like you didn't have the freedom to try new things or try things your way, or there wasn't a lot of flexibility in something that you were doing. And maybe this lack of flexibility is what created this feeling of being tied down or being restricted. And so now that you have freed yourself from that, or you have been freed from that, in the present, there is a lot more flexibility. You are doing something that allows you a lot more freedom to either try new things, do things differently, or, use your imagination, maybe do things your way, or approach something in a way that makes a lot more sense to you. Because I was looking at these leaves and I was just thinking of fresh air, like being able to breathe clean, fresh air. So in the past, you might have felt suffocated by something, and in the present, you're no longer experiencing that suffocation or oppression, possibly. You're able to breathe freely. You're able to breathe fully. I'm also seeing in my mind a wider space. So maybe now you are living or working somewhere where there's like wider space or more room, and that in itself is a lot more freeing for you, or it is conducive to maybe your mental health, mental well-being, because these green leaves are also making me think of health, feeling and being a lot healthier. Yeah, so this also is indicating to me that at this moment in the present, if you are currently working, you are working in a healthier environment. Maybe you have healthier relationships as well. Or this could even be indicating that currently you are living a healthier lifestyle, your mental health has improved as well, or you have a healthier mindset, a healthier perspective, perception, approach on life or a specific area of life, or just in general. Yeah, and with practicality, you are quite open to the unexpected. You are a lot more optimistic as well, yet I'm not sensing any excessiveness, like being overly optimistic to the point where it's unrealistic or unhelpful. because I do see you being practical and logical and rational about things. So yes, you're coming up with plans, yet these are plans that can be executed. Like, they are plans that can be set in motion. And it feels like with the Page of Pentacles that you're taking things one step at a time. I don't see any rushing for anything to happen or feeling impatient or being excessive with anything. You're doing things in moderation and applying rationality and maybe even technicality to the execution of your plans and to how you develop something. Because the Page of Pentacles does indicate a grounded person, someone who has a lot of aspirations and big goals, but they are also level-headed, which means that they do aim to achieve their goals. No matter how big they are, they aim to achieve them. And because they aim to achieve them, they come up with a plan that does work, that will work for them. So I want to say, whatever it is that you're creating now or starting, whatever it is that you're planning and developing, it is going to bear you fruits. You are going to see the fruition of this. You are going to bring this to completion because you have the means to do so. Or if you don't have like the resources right now, I feel like the way that you are approaching things, you will have the resources soon. Because you are someone who is very intelligent and knows how to make things happen. You know how to create something out of nothing. You know how to develop, how to grow something. And this could come from experience that you have collected from previous jobs or just, life experience. But it feels like you do have that instinct, that knack, maybe for business or just, you're quite rational. I want to say you have that critical thinking. So you do have the talent or the know-how of how to build something from the ground up or build something up. You guys might be excellent entrepreneurs or you might have this knack for developing, adjusting, updating, creating improvement. So I do see a lot of growth. I do see potential. I do see that right now you are barely getting started. And there might be a lot of, needing to save or needing to budget or doing a lot of financial management in the moment, because I feel like you guys are working on starting something. So you could be currently thinking of how to invest your money wisely so that you can get a turnaround in the future, or you're thinking on where to invest your money, how to divide your resources to get the best out of it. So I am seeing you being careful and cautious, but not excessively so, or you're being overly cautious to your detriment or the detriment of something. I feel like, as mentioned previously, you're doing things in moderation, reasonably, and this will be paying off because you do have a plan. At least that's what I'm seeing. You do have a plan, you do have a vision, and so I feel like that is what is helping you make the best decisions, not only for the now, but also for your future. And I know this might be weird to say out of the blue, but whatever it is that you're doing right now, it suits you. It suits you. And you will know by the way that you feel. So if you feel alive, if you feel open, free in a sense, then you know that you are doing something that is in alignment with you, that suits you, that is for you. Yeah, but now moving on to the future, we have the moon, which is very interesting. So with the message, the light of my being dispels all shadows, I feel like in the future, you guys are going to be venturing or doing something that might be quite risky, or it just will be something that is quite out of your comfort zone or is quite challenging. And the reason why I say challenging is because I feel it will require of you to face certain fears or maybe insecurities, maybe even traumas or the past, because the moon makes me think of the subconscious mind or the unconscious mind. And with this word shadows, it seems like there have been some things that you, whether consciously or subconsciously, chose to repress rather than face in the moment. And this is neither bad or good. It's just how things played out, because everything has its time and place. And some things that we go through depending on our mental state or emotional state at that moment, where we are in life, it's easier to set it aside rather than to process it right then and there, because it might be too heavy for us, it might be too intense, we might just not be in the state to be able to process it. And so instead of putting ourselves through that, we choose to leave it aside for a later time, to store it away, so that when we are ready, when it is time, we can bring it out into the light and then address it. And so I feel like in the future, that's what's happening. Whatever you decided to store away, lock away in the past because it was too heavy, too much of a burden, it just didn't feel like the right time to face it, to process it. Now in the future, it's being brought out so that you can work through it. Because the moon is making me think of someone who is facing their fear of the dark or of the night. Someone who is coming face to face with their shadows, with that which they hid from themselves or ran away from because it was scary, because they just didn't want to deal with it, because they just didn't want to acknowledge it. I feel like that's what you are coming face to face with in the future, and you're coming face to face with it through something that you are doing, actively doing it, and it feels like something that you are pursuing. So whatever it is that you're creating now, it feels like it's leading up to this. So let's say, just as an example, right now someone is starting a business, a small business, right? And it's going well. And over time, this business grows and it grows into a company. And now they're getting a lot of publicity. They find themselves expanding their business, and because of it, they have to connect with others, go to meetings, give presentations, and so forth. And so there's a lot of exposure and visibility. And if visibility exposure is something that this person was running away from in the past, like they had a fear of being seen, then this growth, this milestone that they are experiencing through their business is going to challenge them to face this fear or recognize this fear of being seen. It's going to ask them to release this fear or overcome it or just work through it. And the moon can indicate hidden truths or hidden things in the dark. Yet I'm getting such an encouraging feeling from the moon. So much empowerment. So I feel like in the future, that which you used to run away from, you will no longer be running away from. It's like you're facing it head on. And the beautiful thing about this energy is that in the future, I see you recognizing that which scares you or used to scare you or used to intimidate you, possibly. Like you are very aware, self-aware of your insecurities, of your complexes maybe, of your vulnerability, of your weaknesses as well. Yet this awareness is not bringing you down or drawing you back into the shadows. It's instead propelling you forward. Even though you're well aware that you have weaknesses, because we all do, even though you're well aware that you have these insecurities, these fear, these complexes, which we all do have some, you're not letting that stop you, or you're not letting that affect your self-image or create belittlement. Like you're not feeling small in the face of your fears, of acknowledging that you do have fears, weaknesses, insecurities, complexes, and so forth. Instead, you're standing tall and you're choosing to come out of the shadows. So in the future, there could be visibility, there could be exposure. I do see you coming to the front. A lot of you could actually be working through a fear, a struggle with being seen. And it's so interesting how at the beginning I took the time to talk about like speaking up and getting some things off of your chest, because I feel like in the future you're gaining the confidence, or you're encouraging yourself, like you're pushing forward in a sense to speak up or to be seen or to express yourself or to reveal a truth. There's this feeling of choosing to rise above something. And with illusion, it's like you're not letting any like maybe limited beliefs deceive you or trick you into thinking that you can't do something, or that you won't be able to achieve something, or that you're not good enough perhaps, or that you have to continue concealing, hiding, who you are, hiding yourself or staying in the dark, remaining in the shadows. Yeah, because the light of your being dispels all shadows. So you're choosing to shine your light. You're choosing to be in the light, be in the spotlight perhaps. You're choosing to go for the thing that you want, achieve your dreams, aim higher, or simply not hold yourself back. So it's a beautiful energy, and it feels very much like a breakthrough. It feels like this is you setting yourself free, like literally. Because whereas in the past you might have set yourself free from an environment, a situation, a relationship, something that was more tangible perhaps, in the future you're setting yourself free from something that is going on within, like limited beliefs, programmings that weren't serving you, complexes, insecurities, fears, maybe even traumas. You're setting yourself free from mental blockages as well, or even emotional blockages. It could also be from guilt, secrecy, a lie, or an attachment to the past. This is you liberating yourself. And this full moon, it's making me think of completion or coming full circle. So I do feel like you'll be ending a cycle here, some kind of cycle, or in this future, you will be learning the lessons that have been applied all throughout this stage or phase of your life. Because remember, we are simply looking into a phase or stage of your life. This past, present, and future is not indicating the entirety of your life. So I want to say you'll be ending this cycle successfully, having learned your lessons, having achieved major breakthroughs, having liberated yourself from something that was in the past holding you down, holding you back, or keeping you stuck, or making you feel or believe that you were powerless or you weren't good enough, or that you should continue just allowing yourself to be strung along by your circumstances, by external factors, by other people, and so forth. Like, no, now you are choosing a different narrative. You are choosing to walk on a different path. We actually have this person here walking in this darkness. So it's like, this darkness is making me think of the unknown, the unexpected. And yes, this illustration here is reaffirming this message in the prosperity card. You are definitely open to unexpected joy and beauty. You are not shying or running away from it anymore. You're facing life head on. Like, what scares you can no longer hold you down. It can only inspire you and motivate you or drive you forward. If you felt a victim to your own mind, in the future you will not be a victim to your mind or to your circumstances. This illustration is also making me think of embracing the shadows. Oftentimes we think we have to overcome our fears to rise above them, but it doesn't always have to be the case, because sometimes we can walk hand in hand with our fears. All that means is we have acknowledged what scares us, what intimidates us. Yet we choose to no longer hide behind it or run away from it. We choose to acknowledge it and still continue forward, moving forward. So in the future, I do see you, moving forward, continuing to move forward. I do see you on a completely different path from the one that you were on in the past. And I do feel like something that you are starting on right now or working on in the present, developing in the here and now, it will grow and it will become something bigger than you ever imagined and or expected it to become in the future. Or this will guide you towards something completely different in the future. It just feels like something that started small will grow into something substantial, something grand in the future. Like a seed that at the beginning is just a seed, but then over time turns into a beautiful, ginormous sycamore tree. And the moon has this mysterious vibe to it. So I am picking up on a lot of mystery. All I know is that in the future you will be experiencing something beyond your wildest dreams, or maybe right now is to you simply a fantasy. Maybe it's something that's not even in your plans. It feels like in your future you will be experiencing something that goes above and beyond your current plans. Yet that's all I am sensing. Like, I don't know exactly what this may be. Maybe I'm not getting something exact or detailed because it will be different for each one of you. or it could be pertaining to different areas of life. You know, for some, this might be in terms of your career, your profession, your occupation. For others of you, it could be about relationships. For others of you, it could just be about your personal growth, your personal journey. It will very much depend. But I do feel like you guys, you yourself, will be starting and are creating something. Whether it be an enterprise, a creative project, a new approach, a format, technique maybe, but I do see you creating something new, and this building up to something grand or leading to other opportunities. I know that was very vague, but that's all I'm getting so far. And I want to say that you will be at the head of something. In the future, you will be at the head of something. A lot of you could end up being CEOs, business managers, executive directors perhaps, producers, or leaders. Have some kind of leadership role, because I see you making executive decisions in the future. Yeah, or this could simply be indicating you being the leader of your own life, the creator, the writer of your narrative. Some of you could end up writing a story or a script. Yeah, because I'm getting like directors, producers. Yeah, but you get the gist. And like I said, I see you being in the spotlight, in the limelight. I do see you having some form of visibility or exposure in the future. Okay, but these are all the messages I am seeing with these cards. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope it brought some guidance, some clarity. If it did, then please leave a like or a comment. And if you're new to this channel and you want to stick around for more readings with me, Kim, then please do subscribe. I do offer personal readings. All the information is in my website, and the link to my website can be found in the description box down below. Thank you so much for watching until the very end, and a huge thank you to all of you who took the time to watch the advertisements or just let them run in the background, since that is the simplest way to support me and to support this growing channel. So if you did, I truly do appreciate it. And before I sign off, I want to give a thanks to Spirit and your higher self who assisted me with delivering these messages to you. Thank you so much. Yeah, but this is all for now. I am wishing you a wonderful rest of your day, afternoon, or night, depending on when you are watching. And until the next moment, bye bye.